Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be the helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be the helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be the helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be the helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be that helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be that helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Good morning, America. I am your host, Glenn Bourbon, and today I'm joined by the luminary hit political star of our time, Washington Week host Tyrone Johnson. On today's show, we'll discuss the Department of Commerce's shocking new regulation scandal, issues with the Hayes campaign as shocking new screenshots were released, and the House in shambles as they convene. Thank you so much for joining us. And how are you feeling, Tyrone? I mean, this is the first episode of GMA. Quite frankly, I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited as well, and I can't really say I'm very excited, with the current stance on our government right now, though.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. So I think that we should start with the Department of Commerce's new regulations on news. As you know, we both work for the same news company, ABC. How do you feel about the
hmm
regulations that many are saying infringe on the First Amendment right, freedom of the press, and freedom of speech?
Well, you talked the one where the Secretary of Commerce basically stated that news agencies are not, politically back any president, any candidate of any party, right?
Hmm.
Showing any biasness.
Hmm.
Well, I disagree with that because listen, what is what can we say about our Department of Commerce? You know, basically violating our right. But huh? Sorry, but anyway, basically, you stopping myself, which is I am a politician myself, and basically stopping yourself, who serves on the RNC. You basically can't come out and publicly support anybody. And the fact that this new regulation is put in place, if you go out and support any kid that you see so fit, then you'll be in violation of that, which could get you to some legal trouble. And I think the president needs to take that into due consideration. See that his Commerce Secretary, really needs to be, taught a lesson on, how the First Amendment works. And, we should not be, pin pressing down news agencies just because, you currently support this candidate. See, what I mean that is, you know, the Secretary of Commerce is supporting John Hanahay. I'm gonna just go out and say it, and because multiple news agencies have come out and basically belittled her character out into the public, and we've seen recent lots of scandals going on from her side, and then with the Department of Commerce they were also facing some legal challenges themselves. And I feel like, if I was to get in trouble, publicly supporting a candidate just the fact that I work in a news agency, I do plan on taking it to court and, suing the Department of Commerce for that, because that is wrong. You don't can't nobody tell me who to support. I don't
Hmm.
listen to nobody anyway.
Mm, right, right. And my own personal view on it, I think that the Department of Commerce is incredibly, inconsiderate with this specific regulation. Now prohibiting trolling news, that I can understand. I can understand that to a degree. What I can't understand is prohibiting things like opinion news, which have always been commonplace within BRUS history. I don't believe that it's fair to prohibit that type of news. It could massively impact the production of certain news from certain news companies and impact business for them. I think it's bad business for everyone. I think it's bad business for for the Department of Commerce. They're putting a massive target on their back when it comes to legal troubles, and I think that it's going to make it even harder for them in the future to maintain a reputation of a clean department, a clean and active and good department if they continue to do things like this. Now, right after this break, we'll talk about so many more issues with this government and how we need to fix them. Thank you so much. Stick around. This is Good Morning America. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be that helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be that helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Hello and welcome back to Good Morning America. Our next topic for the day is Johanna Hayes' issues with her campaign. Shocking news screenshots were released. Now, I would like Tyrone to explain this whole situation because he's been doing a deep dive on this, and this is an extremely strange issue and very corrupt issue within BRUS history. So, Tyrone, if you could take it away, that would be amazing.
All right, I'm going to try to sum it up as best as I can here. So basically, as many of Americans have seen earlier, we've seen screenshots of Johanna Hayes or leaked messages, what I believe from her campaign headquarters, is that she's basically having a conversation with the current acting attorney general, basically having a deal go on about how basically the messages are saying that she's kind of trying to get the attorney general to mess up the reputation of the current administration, and maybe it's showing some sort of scandal dealing going on between those two. But from my personal opinion, I personally like to, hear both sides of the facts. I'm a person who likes to hear from the actual person's mouth. Sometimes, we can tend to have some sort of people come out and, fake some messages like this. But I'm not saying they're fake or not. I'm not. But, I'm just saying it's a possibility that they could be. Because, we have seen a lot of people come out and, attack Johanna. She is a rising star in the Democratic Party. And, Republicans could stop at nothing to try to, savage her, image further, if you understand what I'm saying. But, Glenn, I've stated my personal opinion on it, really. But how do you feel? How are you feeling that, this thing with Johanna?
Right. Well, personally, I think I've spoken with Johanna privately and publicly. As you know, Johanna is a very interesting and unique candidate. I never thought that she was corrupt, but now with these screenshots, it's hard to dispute. And the Attorney General claims that her comments made within those screenshots were bait to find out information for the investigation that they're doing on Johanna. However, the screenshots were leaked, and and if I could just speak directly to Johanna, it isn't looking good right now. It looks like you were attempting to collude with the Attorney General to shirk your charges, which is completely unethical and completely, I think, possibly illegal. Because conspiracy is is something that is unfortunately quite common in BRUS, and I didn't expect it from you. And I hope that that isn't what those messages portray. However, from what I'm looking at, and the position that I'm sitting in, it doesn't look very good. So being someone who is quite close to Johanna, being someone who wants to believe that these messages aren't true, however, the Attorney General says that they will be used in an investigation, I can only say that it's not looking good. I hope the future isn't as dark as the present is, and that's really my stance on it.
I'm gonna have to. I'm not first before we move on real quick. I'm gonna agree with you on what you just said, Glenn, right there. On
Mhm.
because I'm a close friend to Johanna as well, and I don't really want to pinpoint her as some sort of possible criminal or anything
Mhm.
like that. Um, but my thing is with that, and if the attorney general is planning on, bringing on some sort of charges, my fault. And bringing my thing is the attorney general was talking about bringing on some sort of charges onto Mrs. Hayes. Then I think there could be a lot more somewhat corruption going on from the attorney general side than there is speculated to come from Johannes. Because how is she going to be trying to get intertwined with Johanna from what it is painted to see, from what it is painted to look like it is, to then jump on another ship as on this legal ship that she's following the law and trying to actually prosecute Jonna as if she didn't possibly get called out for some sort of corruption act.
Mhm. Mhm. So next we are going to have on a call-in guest. I'm going to keep that all secret for all of you, and it will be a surprise till next segment. But stick around right after this break. We'll have him on. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be that helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be that helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. What do you want? Hello, and welcome back to Good Morning America. Today we have on a special call-in guest. We have on the White House Chief of Staff to discuss the president's goals and amazing ideas for the future. So welcome on so much, White House Chief of Staff Henry Reyes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bourbon. Thank you for allowing me to call in here today, and I look forward to answering these questions about the president to the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to ask, is the president planning on continuing the amazing tradition that President Siegel has set of signing executive orders in order to further this country's stability?
The president yesterday, as you already know, made an announcement to which he signed Executive Order 14128, which would make English the official language of the United States. The president looks forward to signing executive orders that to which benefit the American people. He's going to make the most out of this, the most of his term, his month term that he can. And he's going to sign executive orders that can make Americans' lives better. Wake up, have a great tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I would like to ask about the current. I wouldn't really call it an issue, or I should rather call it the recent dismissal of the ambassador Peter Guzman. Could you give us a little insight into why he was dismissed?
The president believed, and as myself advising the president, that the ambassador was not performing to the duties of which he was sworn in to perform. He wasn't doing good enough of a job, and therefore, we decided that, all good things must come to an end, that we had to dismiss Mr. Guzman from his duties.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, would you like to comment on the executive order that was signed yesterday, Executive Order 14128?
Well, as you know, that executive order is broadly intended to make English the official language of the United States. English is a very broadly spoken language of the United States, as you are sure, Mr. Bourbon. We speak English here today. We speak English everywhere, but we also speak many different languages, which we do respect. However,
Go on.
However, the president sees that this order of making English the official language is beneficial for the American people, because if you think about it, all other countries have an official designated language for their country besides us. We kind of sort of flip-flopped from language to language, sort of. We never had an official decision. This executive order brings a decision.
Right.
Okay, and can I ask you real quick? Really think about it. You're saying it's because other countries do it. Since America somewhat is some sort of a big brother on the world stage and follow, and we want to set an example of spread democracy. And showing that our country is a country where we accept all, no matter what language they speak, what background they come from. So when this executive order, show the American people that they when this executive order show the world and the American people that they no longer care about anybody that speaks Spanish, Mandarin, anybody that speaks Arabic, any other nationality language that there is foreign language there is out there. Couldn't you say that this executive order that President Smith signed into effect is somewhat racist?
The president's goal for this executive order was not in any way, shape, or form meant to be constricting or anything like that. As you stated, Mr. Johnson, racist. We deliberate, as you know, over executive orders. Executive orders are important decisions that are signed over the course of time. And these executive orders are signed to ensure the best possible lives for the American people.
And you say into this executive order is making the English the predominant language of the United States. Wouldn't basically, let's say I'm someone who comes from Mexico and I'm speaking fluent Spanish. I don't know how to speak a word of English. I'm speaking full on Spanish. Not understanding a word you're saying. And over time, I'm listening and learning English. What's the point? Like, what is the real reason behind this executive order? Because for someone to come into the presidency and this be their first and only act of an executive order that we've seen from this administration by so far, like, what is the true meaning behind this executive order? Could you, give us some insight on it?
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, for starters, as I said previously, the president does not intend to be racist on the matter of this executive order, and the president is also working on more executive orders at the moment that will be released and signed by himself very soon. So for now, the executive order does not force Americans or newly people who have citizenship. It does not force people to learn it does not force people to abandon the language that they speak. It encourages them to, as a citizen, to learn the language, to learn English. It is not forcing you to speak English, right? Because that's constricting and it's divisive, and that is not what this executive order was intended to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I would like to hammer on that point a bit. Do you think that this executive order specifically was to encourage the education
Yes.
of right, right,
Yes, it
right.
was.
So essentially, it was simply to encourage the education of people who spoke different languages to learn the de facto and now official language of the
Mhm.
United States, right?
Yeah. Learning English for starters. If you are someone who just had citizenship and you do not know a single word in the English language, like for example, if I said "Hello, how are you?" you wouldn't understand the thing that I was saying. If you learn English in this country, that you can communicate better more with people. People in restaurants, you can order food, stuff like that. You communicate with your English friends better, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So it was fantastic having you on the show.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on. Me and you were great friends.
Mhm.
I'm absolutely sure that we'll be having a uh, a very nice conversation in the future outside of politics. But
Mhm.
um, but in the meantime, thank you for coming on ABC. And right after this, we'll talk about the House in Shambles.
And yes, if I may state before I hang up my phone, of course,
Mhm.
the president will be will be addressing a joint session of Congress for his State of the Union address on March
Mhm.
29th at 6 o'clock p.m. He'll be addressing a joint session of Congress and the American people on his policy and his legislative agenda.
Mhm.
So I
All right.
advise you all to watch that event and tune in for that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Fantastic. All right. Right after this break, we will talk about the House being in absolute shambles when they convened. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be right back. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be that helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Americans work together, and that's important. We're always reaching out to be that helping hand. We love our country and we put family first. So do Republicans. Hello and welcome back to Good Morning America. I am your host, Glenn Bourbon, and guess what? The House is in shambles. This most recent time when they convened, the House was in absolute shambles. There are suspicions of trolling. Some speculate it may be McGarry Wilson. Some speculate it may be Noted Tentacles. We are not absolutely sure on those speculations. However, what we can say is that the House was in total shambles in this specific session. Now, the House has been operating on a very, very uh, low propensity for a long time. Nobody expects a lot of them. However, this specific time, it was an all-time low, and that needs to stop. And we hope that the new speaker, Speaker Whitfield, can get this under control. How about you, Tyrone?
I'm gonna have to agree with you right there. Lately, the House hasn't been showing, great activity, and we haven't been seeing lots of representatives showing up in their jobs. And I think really that the FEC needs to really start making sure that individuals who are not serving in their capacity as a representative is barred from ever being able to run for a seat ever again. Because what's the point in us helping electing these people and then they turn around and then just attend the session to where they get sworn in, and then after that we don't see them no more. They are to cease to exist, and we only see three individuals in the House of Representatives show up. And I'm not sure what the max number, what's the highest number this House has ever seen just yet. But I just remember, I think it was, I'm going to say last week or the week before that, we've seen that one night, and we seen Representative McGarry Wilson, and I can't think of the other representative name. They were arguing on the House floor for like an hour on one piece of legislation, and that was just embarrassing on the House's part. And just the individual that we just had on this phone was the presiding officer um, during that time, before he stepped down as speaker. So really, I think that the House needs to, revamp itself and, bring in active members. And if you are somebody who's not going to be active within our United States government, then you should not be running for that position.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have to agree with you on the idea that the House needs to be revamped. If Speaker Whitfield doesn't get it under control, I'm not sure how that's going to be for his own personal political career, but also for the House. I mean, the House needs to get under control. We need active representatives. We need active members there. And honestly, this goes for both sides of the aisle, but the Democrats have been kind of MIA through a lot of this. However, I think that with Speaker Whitfield, if they can possibly get the Democratic side active, then the Republicans will follow, as the Republicans have been doing for a long time. And quite honestly, I think they've been propping up the House for at least a couple months. So those are my topics on it, and my thoughts on it. But within this specific capacity, I think Speaker Whitfield will do a relatively good job. He's been pretty active within the server, pretty active campaigning. So I think he'll do good in that capacity, and I hope that he does do good for the sake of the House. If he doesn't, I'm going to be tremendously disappointed. Anyway, this is the end of Good Morning America. This was our first episode. Wasn't it amazing, Tyrone?
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you can watch Tyrone exclusively on ABC News on Washington Week every single week.
Yes, please tune in next week.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So thank you everyone for watching. This has been Good Morning America. We'll see you very soon.